Hey, Nirvana Mama here, and this is Hairbrush Poetry Jam. And today I'm going to read for you a poem I wrote called I and My. I wrote this poem yesterday, so this is one of those episodes where you get to see like exactly what I'm working on, when I'm working on it, and what I'm processing. I have plans for this to go in a book that's going to come out in a few years. I do know where this is going to fit in my collection of poetry books, but I just wrote it, so I want to read it to you tonight. Here it is. I hope you enjoy it. I and My. It was many and many a year ago, in a city by the highway, that a warrior there lived, whom you may know by the name of Jesse Andre. And this warrior, he lived with no other prayer than a broken maiden to save. He was a child, and I was a child in this city by the highway. But we loved with a love that was more than love, I and my Jesse Andre, with a love that the golden beauties around us coveted him and me. And this was the reason, long ago, in this city, by the highway, that late one night in his dark bedroom, he read to me Annabel Lee, to show his artful nature yearned for another kind of beauty, a maiden entombed in a sepulchre from a kingdom by the sea. My heart, not half so happy in heaven, knew that poem was about me, though I had not the reason, as all maidens know in this city by the highway, when tears spilled out through my broken words, thrilling and chilling my Jesse Andre. But our love, it was stronger by far than the fear of a forgotten old tragedy, of a trauma unknown to me. He said, rest here in my room on my bed, my love. Pretend it's your tomb by the sea. I'll lay here beside you, my soul holding yours, till your memories come back to stay. And the moon never beams without screaming, it seems, for the arms of my Jesse Andre. And the stars never rise without soft, helpless cries for the arms of my Jesse Andre. And so all the night tide he prayed for the sight of his darling, his life and his bride in her sepulchre there by the sea, till those memories came back to me. Okay, so that poem was very closely inspired by the poem Annabel Lee by Edgar Allan Poe, which I read in a previous episode, and the link to that episode is down below. It's one of my favorite poems ever. And so that's the story of the first time that I heard it. Jesse read it to me, and I'm going to talk more about it, tell you more about that story, and why I connected with it, or how I connected with it. And for that, it's time for Combing Through. Bits of books and blurbs and backstory bits. That's what combing through is. We are detangling my life here. And tonight we're talking about Edgar Allan Poe and Annabel Lee. And the first time that I heard that poem, I got really emotional. I got really overwhelmed, and I just kept insisting. I said, that poem's about me. That poem's about me. And Jesse was like, okay, all right, let's talk about it. You know, what's going on? I was really upset. And I said, I don't know. I don't know why. I couldn't explain it. I said, I just feel like I died a long time ago. I just feel like somehow a long time ago I died, and I've been dead ever since. And I don't know why. And so he actually had me lay down and visualize being in a tomb by the sea. And he talked me through that visualization. And he took all the pressure off, and he took all the panic off. And he reassured me that I didn't have to know, and that I didn't have to be able to explain it, and I didn't have to talk about it until I was ready, and that when I was ready, I would be able to. And it was one of our really strong early bonding experiences. And it was one of the things that made us so close so fast, because I felt like he understood me in a way that no one else really had before. And he sort of gave me permission to have that kind of reaction. And what I want to say about that is that the nature of trauma oftentimes is that the memories get blocked out for years sometimes. And I saw this quote on social media the other day that said, trauma comes back as a reaction first, not as a memory. And there's so much truth to that. The struggle that I had when I was growing up, and then even still in other parts of my life, was that I would have reactions. I would not know why. And instead of people reacting the way that I just described what Jesse had done, I always received a lot of, oh, well, you're just too emotional. You're just too sensitive. And just a lot of, disregard, discrediting. If you don't know why, then you shouldn't be so upset. Things like that. And that's actually really detrimental. And that just makes a person feel like they're not safe with that environment. So what I would mention about this is that if there is somebody that you're close to, or somebody that you're friends with, or in your life, and you see them really upset about something, and from your point of view it seems like they don't have a reason to be upset, or that they're getting upset over something small, just give them the benefit of the doubt that there's more there that either they don't understand yet, or that you don't understand yet. And just do your best to honor the experience that they're having, instead of limiting it to your interpretation of it. So that's what I want to say about that. I did, in beginning of 2020, I started having a lot of memories come back to me. And it's why I started writing so much more poetry. And I'm telling my story one poem at a time, one book at a time. And none of that would have been possible without me being in an environment that was emotionally safe. So it's really valuable to me. Okay, so there's only one thing left to do. I think like a scholar and spin like a baller, so hit the subscribe if you care what I holler. The bell and the like, and you'll show me some love. My jam is a poem. I don't ask for much because who needs a microphone? I have a hairbrush.